Okay. So this is one of a very important soft skill, decision making. So decision making is a skill where it is needed in organization, where it is needed in personal life, or where it is needed in any kind of situation needs a very best decision making skill, because the decisions and the choices are our life. The life is full of choices. The life is not based on the fate, and the life is not based on any other thing. The life is full of choices. So what is your decision makes your life, where you want to go, on the right or left, whether you go or not, or will you accept or not, or will you be sad or will you be happy, or will you enjoy or will you leave. So these kind of decisions contributes the life, and these kind of decisions help us to work on the every critical situations in our life. So as decision making is very much important in our life, so how to enhance the decisions making skill, and how you can prompt yourself to take good decisions based on the challenges you are facing, that's what we are going to discuss now. So first of all, we want to think, what is decision making? So what is decision making? So decision making is the process of making choices, as I said before. So decision making means making choices. So like so choosing someone also, we can say, for example, at home or at school days you would be answering the questions like 1 mark question or 2 mark question. So you will get four options as your answer. So you know what is the answer. So what will you do? Just you will go to the answers and you click the answer. Sometimes, sometimes you will not get it. That is, what is the actual thing, or what is that? What is the actual answer? Because you do not know what is the answer. In those situations, if you do not know what is the answer, what you will try to do, just you will relate the question with all the options given. So if you see that there is a close relationship between the question and the answer given, then you will choose that answer as the, that is that option or that choice as the answer. This is what happening in the real life also. So we have so much of choices and we have so much of things that are explored, but how we should decide. So we should not take a decision blindly. So it is a process. So we should see the decision making as a process. It is not an idea. It is not an interest. So decision making is not an institution, or it is not an artificial illusion. So decision making is a process. So what is the process? It is the process of making choices by identifying a decision, gathering information, and assessing alternative resolutions. This is what we are doing in the exam papers also. So we are doing a decision. For that, what are all the things we do? First of all, we will identify a decision. So what is the decision we want to take? We will just mark it up with a pencil. And gathering information. And we will gather the information about the related topic. So how it works? We will gather it that is about the related topic. And accessing alternative resolutions. We will check whether there is alternative resolutions. So will it go or will it be stable and be with us all the time? So these kind of stable decision making can be done by a process called decision making. What is the process? Process of making choices by identifying a decision, gathering information, and accessing alternative solutions. So using a step-by-step decision-making process can help you make more deliberate and thoughtful decisions by organizing relevant information and defining alternatives. So a high step-up decision, that is step-by-step decision. So if you consider that process, what you can get in that process is you can make more deliberate and thoughtful decisions. So just taking a decision at the first step. So if you see something and if you like it, immediately you get it and eat it. So that is what we are making instant decision making. But in most of the thing, we should not use the instant decision making. So using a step-by-step decision making process is the best process, and it will help the farmers, or it will help any kind of people, or it will kind or and it will that is it will be used for any kind of professionals or technicians to work in their profession, to grow in their profession. So these kind of thoughtful decisions by organization relevant information and defining alternatives is the proper way of decision making, because the decision making is very more important, right? So users can help so users can help okay. So let's go to the next one. What are the 7 steps of decision making? So while you are about to take a decision, so you need to follow 7 steps to it. What are the 7 steps for Akka? Okay, 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 okay. What are the 7 steps of decision making? There are 7 steps that needs to be followed to just to make an effective decision. So first step, always identify the decision. You realize how that you to make the decision. So before taking into the decision, the very first thing what you example. Okay, So let's come back and see about let's 7 steps of decision making. What is that step one? Identify the decision. So one thing is before taking a decision, we should find out what is the decision. Second one, gather relevant information. So if you are seeking for a business and if you are seeking for an opportunity to start your own business, the very first thing is you want to decide a decision. That is whether my parents will support or anything you like. So before taking a decision, you should realize that what you are going to make a decision. Second one, gathering relevant information. So we should gather the relevant information from the parent or anybody else so that it is very easy to gather the relevant information and identify the alternatives because what was earlier the same level. So identify the alternative, any kind of alternative. It is identify. Okay. Right. So next one, weigh the evidence. Weigh the evidence means you should give importance to the point that supports the decision and choose among alternatives. Choose among alternatives means when you are about to take a decision, when you have all the resources itself, also you should have a very good backup with the alternatives, and that alternatives you should choose. Then take action, then review your decision and its consequences. For example, you are in a decision making to start to prepare your exams. So first of all, if you are starting to prepare your exams by Jan, you will identify the decision. So what is that to start the join? If I start by Jan, that is I need to make that is I need to make a decision and gather relevant information. What are the relevant information? What are the spurious skill gates? Then next one. So so next thing is to be identify the alternates. So alternates has been found and writing to CEO, and the next one is waste or in so next one is weigh the evidence and choose among alternatives and take action and review your decision and its consequences. So these are all the 7 steps of decision making. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to display this decision making on the screen. So when I display this decision making on the screen, you just take any one decision what you like or any one important decision what you had in your life and write the step 1, write the step 2, write the step 3 and write step 4, step 6 and step 7 for the decision that you what made. So you made too much of decisions and you can choose anyone as an alternative or what you do just follow the writings and finish it and so on. Okay, write down all the answers. Okay. So these are all the seven kinds of decision making. And what are some of the basic qualities that we can, that is, what are all the basic questions that we can ask within ourselves? Okay. What are all the basic questions we can ask ourselves so that we can find that we are very good in decision making? So the very first question when you are about to take a decision, the very first thing what you can ask is the decision fair? Fair means is the decision good? Is it a right decision or a wrong decision? And will I feel better or worse about myself after making this decision? So once you made the addition, you are able to fulfill all the things. There you want to check whether their decision is right or wrong, and when there's whether this decision breaks any organization rule, or does this addition a harmful law. So this is what. So does this decision break any laws or any organization rules, or how would I feel this decision was organization rules? If I ask these questions, and if the decision is fair, if it is feeling you to feel better, and if it is a decision that breaks any organization and don't I mean law the breaks, and how would I feel this decision was broken off from the news? Okay. So if you get answer for all these questions, then you can easily say that you have taken a very good decision. there are some decision models. Uh, Based on the models, we can go for some decision making. So, what does that model means? Sometimes we feel very difficult to take a decision. So, even when we ask some questions, we are not getting that much responses from our brain. So, where should go, what should go, I mean, what should be done, and how it should be done. For those questions, we find very hard to find out the answers. For those kind of thing, what can we do and what can be done? That is what we are going to do. For that, so the researchers have developed some decision making models that creates a very important and that makes the person to take potential decision making. And the very first model is rational model. What is that rational model? The rational model of decision making is it provides information or alternatives. So we said that is we have seen in the process of decision making like there is an option called providing alternative. So what is that alternative means? We want to see what is an alternative and what are all the best alternatives available. So how can we importing that is how can we import that taking alternatives into the decision making. For that we are taking a model called random or rational decision making model. What is that rational decision making model and where it is applied? That is what we want to discuss in the first. So rational, we know well what is rational. So rational means it is like containing all the things. So it is containing all the things means there it includes more thing. So the same way, so rational decision making is a multi-step process first. So it is a multi-step process for making choices between the alternatives. So the process of rational decision making favors logic, objectivity and analysis over subjectivity and insight. We know the what is the meaning of the word rational. So it is a content that what does it says means it is a clear headed one. So as it does in a colloquial sense. So rational or non-rational decision making state have some stages. So what are all the stages that is available in rational decision making process and how it is very related to the decision making. First of all, let us see an example where we can apply the rational decision model. One thing is it is applied to individual. We can say it is applied to individual. It will always that is decision making by an individual makes rational, cautious and logical decisions. That we call it as rational theory. So an example of rational theory is an investor choosing one stock over another because they believe that it offers a high return. That is a decision taken by a single person. It is not a thing that is it is not a thing that involves a group. It is a thing that involves an individual. So these kind of things we use the rational choice. For example, rational theory, what does the rational theory states means the individual uses rational calculations to make rational choices and achieves outcomes that are aligned with their own personal objective. It is for an personal objective and these results are also associated with maximizing the individual self-interest. So using rational choice theory is expected to result in outcomes that provide people with a great benefits and satisfactions and limited option when they are available. So rational theory states that on rational calculations to make rational choices that results in outcomes aligned with the best interest, and also it is associated with the concept of rational actors, self-interest and invisible hand. So many economists believe that factors associated with rational choice theory are beneficial to the economy as a whole. And there is one of the most famous economists, that Adam Smith. So he was one of the first economists to develop the underlying principles of the rational choice theory. And there are many economists who dispute the veracity of the rational choices theory and the invisible hand theory. So how can we understand the rational choice theory means? It is very example. That is, it is very easy. It is based on the assumption of involvement from rational actors. For example, we can say so rational actors forms the basis of the rational choice theory, and they assumes that individual or they try to actively maximize their advantage in any situation. That means they always seek the advantage. That is, they always seek the maximum advantage in any situation. What offers the maximum advantage in any situation, they will go for it. So that is what they will always search for the maximum advantage factor. So the decision should increase the income, the decision should increase the time, the decision should increase the revenue. So what is the maximum outcome? If we focus on the maximum outcome, then it comes into the rational decision making. So that's why we are saying that rational decision making or completely for the economist. So there are some advantages in the rational choice theory, as well as there are some disadvantages also in the rational choice theory. There are many economists who dispute the veracity of rational choice and invisible hand theory. So, dissenters have pointed out that individuals do not make rational utility maximum decisions. The field of behavioral economics is more recent intervention into the problem of explaining the economic decision making process. So, what is the that is what is the economical persons are attempting to say means? So, the behavior does not always follow the predictions or economic models because the behavior may vary. So, we don't live in a perfect world in reality. So, people are often moved by the emotions and external factors. So, this is what the theory states. So, the rational theory contains so much of alternatives, the very great alternatives we can apply here. So by applying more amount of alternatives here, we can easily find out what is the best thing and what is the good thing that that is that makes up the maximum or outcome in a very great way. So as I said, the one example is that investing in a thing like the investor will choose the different share markets where he has so much of choices and he has so much of alternatives, where he find very easy to make up the maximum outcome. So there he put up so much of alternates. So where the alternates, which alternate he can choose to go for the next decision, or we can say it in a single word that rational decision making is a model that generates so much of alternates. So since you are getting so much of alternates, the chances of getting very slow or the chances of getting your maximum outcome is more. So this is what the importance of the rational decision making. And also it is possible to support the decision maker by making the knowledge involved with the choice open and specific, because we have a rational choice. So that creates a very good knowledge in the individual to take up some decision and also take up the benefit from the process or knowledge. And what is that bounded rationality means? This is somewhat this has somewhat controversy to the rationality. So what is the thing? Bounded rationality and the rationality means. So bounded rationality is the idea that rationality is limited when individuals makes decision, but we can say limitations is the difference between the rationality and bounded rationality. So limitations include the difficulty of the problem because it requires the decision, and the capability of the mind, and also the time available to make a decision. So decision makers in this view, they act as satisfiers. So seeking a satisfactory solution rather than an optimal solution because of the time constraint. And humans do not undertake a full cost benefit analysis to determine an optimum decision because they always prefer to choose an option that fulfills their adequacy. So that is their limit. They don't want to go for a greater limit to take up a decision. But this bounded rationality, what this means, it also gives an alternative basis, and also it gives a very great choice and the bounded rationality can set to address the discrepancy between the assumed perfect rationality or human behavior. So in that cases, you can go for the rational bounding situations. Our rational, I mean bounded rationality theorems or bounded rationality decision makings. So we can easily define that. How we can easily define that is, it is a process we attempt to satisfy rather than optimize. So optimize means we search for the best. So if we search for the best, you would go for many choices, or you would go for many alternatives. But if you are one who are not really go for that optimized solution, but if you are one who wish to take up a sudden solution with what you have, then that kind of decision making we call it as bounded rationality. So it has no such great options, it has no such great factors, or it has no such great alternatives. So so that you can make a decision easy and in a very short time. So the minimum criteria, it has a very minimum criteria, and you are not willing to, that is, you are not willing to invest great amount of time in taking a decision, and you are not trying to maximize your outcome. So the best example you can say as the best example to, like as rationality, that is the rational outcome theorems, has example of the investor. Here you can take up an example like ordering some food items in the restaurant. So if you are ordering some food items in the restaurant, you will not make much time to take a decision, and you will not go for that is, you will not waste so much of time in just choosing the dishes. What you would like to do is, you would go for the choices that is best in the restaurant, or you would go for the choices that you like, or you would go for the choices based on the time or your health. So that there you will not apply so much of alternative, there you will not apply so much of ration factors, just that you will not try to maximize the outcome. So just you will go what you like. So that we call it as bounded rationality. And bounded rationality, of course the bounded rationality we follow in the organization also, because where we can go for the risk, where in an organization, if you are about to take a decision about when to conduct a meeting, or you are about to take a decision whether we can change that physical appearance of the room, or whether we can change the furniture appearance of the room, there you can go for the bounded rationality. And what is that intuitive rationality? It is intuitive decision making is, this is somewhat different. So this is intuitive different. So this is a kind of illusions also. We can also call it as sixth sense. Generally, they will say it as sixth sense, and it involves being able to gather information, and that the individual may miss that. So it is the opposite. It is the direct opposite of the rational decision making, which is when individual uses analytics, facts, and step-by-step process to make a decision. But intuitive decision is completely different. So they will not use the analytics, or they will not use the alternatives, or they will not check for the best solution or anything. So just it is a sudden or instant decision that can be created. Maybe the reason is a time pressure, or maybe the reason is they have no choices, or maybe the reason is they are trying to please someone. At that time, we will take the intuitive decisions. So intuitive decisions, decision making, it is the way people make decisions naturally without the use of formal tools and procedures. They're like trusting your gut, or using the force in the sixth sense. There you take a decision, and you will not apply so much of strategic tools to decide or to confirm what you like. We can take an example like buying a car. So choosing your life partner, or your evaluation of a job, or a decision about an education, or selecting a meal without eating out, or selecting the next book to read, or decide how to dress for today. These are all some of the intuitive examples that is happening in day-to-day life. So when you are rushing to the office, or when you have very short time to go to the office, you will not take that much time, and you will not take that much force and effort to choose your dress. To just you will take a formal wear, you will make a press, and you will wear it. So that doesn't needs a great time or doesn't needs a great effort to take. So your sixth sense says that you can go, that you look good in this dress, and you take up the dress and wear up the dress and go out. And when you are going for, that is buying a car, so you just visit all the cars. So when you see some car that is pleasing your eyes, and when you see some car it looks good branded and it is cost worthy, definitely you will go and buy it. So without making so much of decisions, or without making great clearances, you can go for buying it. So these kind of decisions we call it as intuitive, or we can say it as a critical, I mean the sixth sense also, sixth sense decision making also. And there is another decision making model, we call it as creative decision making model. What is that creative decision making model is? It is a kind of skill that a person has. So creative decision making is the ability to consider all perspectives and solve a problem in a new way. So creative decision making is thinking unique. That is, we would not take up a thing what others think. We would take up a very new way and handle the same problem in a very different way. So, of course, it can establish a better alternative like a rational theory. It can establish a better alternative so that you can get some choices as well. And it is a new method that is being used in the business. So, the critical, that is the creative decision making, all the persons cannot go for this creative decision making. The person who has a good ability and the person who has a very greater IQ skill then can go for the creative decision making. So this creative decision making, it balances the creative decision making with an analytical output, and also it helps business considering all options when solving an issue or carrying out an task. So this creative decision making involves other attributes and skills also. As I said before, this creative decision making includes the knowledge and skill. So what are all the skill it should possess means? It should need a critical thinking capability. The person should think critical, and that helps them to take creative decisions, and curiosity, and the problem solving skills, and the communication skills, and the organization skills. So these skills, when a person holds these skills, then it would help the person to make a creative decisions. And there are some benefits of creative decision making when comparing to the other things. One thing is we can generate more ideas, as like, because we are finding some best alternatives also. And we cannot say it as an alternative, we can say it as an ideas, because we are not replacing the thing, we are generating new thing. So particularly when one person's thought prompts someone else to think of a solution, it encourages the entire group to collaborate and innovate and strengthen and building the creative solutions. And also it drives to the originality, that is it promotes productivity and the progress and the innovation. So in environments where leaders encourage creativity, so the employees are free to utilize more of their skill to solve a problem or to handle a situation. And also it encourages positivity, because positivity is the strength of this intuitive, that is creative thinking. Because where the positive arises, there comes so much of skills that encourages the creative thinking as well. And strengthening commitment, so employees trust a process or leader or company when they have clarity or a sense of contribution. So it is explored in all the options in a logical way, and it helps the employee support also. And it also improving the quality of decisions. So most of the problems has a single solution, and the creative decision making can generate more options to choose from. And sometimes it develops logical reasoning and critical thinking. The critical decision making can prevent overthinking by inviting productive ways or to explore the situation. So when you feel free to examine a topic from multiple perspectives, this can reinforce the logic, and it increases the company growth as well, and it gives a positive repetition. So the best example, some best examples we can give for creative decision making is we are staying in a business, or we are doing some innovations in the business, like after this, as per the new market, creating new lunch and dinner specials, or we are expanding the takeout hours, or we are offering the free deliveries, or we are using the social medias for the marketing. In those perspectives, we can go for the creative decision making. Or else you are about to save the money, or you are about to increasing the revenue. In that cases, you can go for the creative decisions. So if you want to make a creative decision, what can you do is, you want to explore all the options that is in front of you. That is, you want to try all the new ideas, and you want to have a relaxed brain, and you want to be bold and courage that to try anything, because creative decision comes by trying the new models and the new ideas. For that, you need to be very bold, and you need to be very courage to handle all the upcoming new ideas. So we persons, we are that is we are not a person who is sticking to one decision. Based on the situation, we would go for the decisions, because sometimes we would take rational decisions, sometimes we would take bounded rationality decisions, sometimes we would take intuitive decisions, and sometimes we would take creative decisions, and it's completely based on the situation. And this is what the rational decision. So how you will take a rational decision making, because rational decision making is like a critical decision making when you are at risk, when you are at high risk, or when you are about to take a decision for a very important event, or when you are about to take a decision for a very exclusive event. There you can go for the rational decision making model. So how you can make up a decision, a rational decision making model is, first one is identify the problem. You want to identify what is the problem and what is the given task, and then you want to establish a decision criteria. Decision criteria means what is the way you are choosing. So where you are focusing, whether you are focusing to solve a problem, or whether you are focusing to put a full stop to the entire problem, or whether you are focusing to maximize the outcome, or whether you are focusing the benefit of the individual from the problem, that you want to establish the criteria where you want to go. Then you want to put up the weight. So what is the weight? So you will have some alternatives. You want to weigh the alternates, that is, which has more advantage, whether the option A has more advantage, or option B has more advantage, or option C has more advantage. You want to put on the weight, and you want to calculate the weight, and you want to generate the weight analysis. Then you want to generate alternatives. That is, if the option A has low weight, after some time, what could be the best alternate to the option A that maximize the profit, or that maximize the outcome. You want to generate alternatives. Then evaluate the alternatives. How the alternative is very bad. That is how the alternative could be useful. For example, if you are investing in a stock market, if you are investing in a product, you have calculated the product outcome and the income generate that could be generated in the upcoming 2 months. And when in the next day you see some new product has come, and the new product has been come with the best investment and return. So what you can do is, just you take up that alternative, and you compare that alternative with the current product, and you can evaluate the alternatives outcome as well as your current product outcome, and that you can choose a best alternative, which otherwise maybe you can choose the alternative, or else you can have the same investment portfolio. So there you can check the alternative, and also you are checking for the best solution also. So you are generating alternatives, you are evaluating the alternatives, you are choosing the best alternatives, then finally you are coming to a decision. You are implementing the decision, and you are evaluating the decision. Then you are evaluating the decision, then you are identifying the next problem, and you are establishing the decision criteria, and all the things you are going on. So rational making is like finding the best alternative. We can say is like finding the best alternative. So that what you want to do is, you want to think of the choices, or you want to think of the alternatives you have, so that you can take a very best decision in rational decision making model. And what what is making good enough decisions means? It is like a bounded rationality model. What is that bounded rationality model? As we said before, it tends to satisfy one person immediately rather than choosing the optimal solutions. For example, if you are buying a gift for a person, of course, their gifts or differs, and the cost of the gift may differs, and some gift are cost worthy, and some gift are not cost worthy. But you will not seek, that is, you will not go for the that is the optimal gift, right? So you will not go for the optimal choice to be gifted to a person. So you will go for a choice that pleases the person, or you will go for a choice that satisfies the person. So this approach is a tendency to satisfy, which refers to accepting the first alternate that meets your minimum criteria. Here, meeting the minimum criteria is enough. Like if your friend likes a photo frame, then you have a very minimum criteria that you need a photo frame. That's it. Or else, if you have a budget of 500, you have a minimum criteria of holding the gift within the rupees 500. So if that criteria is met, obviously you will go for the decision and you will finalize that. So according to this model, the individuals knowingly limit their options, and it is a manageable set, and how to choose the best alternative without conducting an exhaustive search. So this is what called decision making. So here this kind of decision making will happen when you have no great time and when you are under a pressure also. And so for yeah, I have noted one example also, that like college graduates do not conduct a national or international search for potential job openings, because instead they search their limit for the geographic area, and most probably they will go for the first offer. When they go for a search, what is the first offer, they will go for it. Satisfaction, there comes the satisfaction. So it is similar to rational decision making, but where it differs means the potential outcome or the choosing the alternatives is the difference between the rational and intuitive decisions is, as we said, without conscious or reasoning. So every 89% of managers surveyed admitted to use intuition at decision making at least sometimes, and 59% said they use intuition often. It is, that is, we see that it is an organizational behavior also. So in an organization, definitely the intuitive decision making model has emerged as a important one, because the markets are changing and the trends are changing, and we are facing so much of new challenges in the organizational behaviors. To handle these kind of new organizational behaviors, we go for the intuitive decision making only, because we cannot concentrate and we cannot put out all the things in a one place, and we do not have that much time to take up a decision like organizing a meeting, gathering all the people and collecting all the people's opinion, and constructing a project feedback about the opinions, and taking the output and taking the decision. It takes more time, it takes more energy, and it takes more money. But the intuitive decision, that is the sixth sense of the manager or the sixth sense of the team player, will play a very important role in taking the decisions that helps actually for the fast moving and the economical growth of the company. And this is what called creative decision making process. So creative decision making process, as said, we are generating new ideas, we are not finding the alternatives, we are generating new ideas, we are exploring new ideas. So we are exploring and we are trying new ideas, and we are fixing at our decision. So that needs problem recognition and immersion and incubation and illumination and verification and application. So first of all, we will identify what is the problem. So we will immerse, that is, we will put that problem into different ways to solve that, and we will incubate. Incubate means we will keep the problem in one place and we will search for that way, and we will wait and see how that way works, and if it works we will stay there, otherwise we will go for the next one. And if it works, then we will illuminate that, that is, we will project that solution to the next problem, and finally we will verify that and we will apply that decision to the all the things. And if you are able to generate several distinct solutions to a problem, then the decision making process is yours. Because that is creating new ideas as per the markets, and creating new ideas as per the trends is the new way of making the business. The business people who have renewed their business with a creative idea have reached a very great level. For example, the CEO of Netflix, so he is a very pretty and creative person. So his decision making process has changed the world. So once he was in Africa, so he was accepted at Stanford University where he earned his master's degree in computer science. Soon after, he worked as a software company and he invented a successful debugging tool which led to his that is founding the computer troubleshooting company. So after the manager, what he done is he just watching the people are getting the movies and videos in a DVD format, so where they can take the DVD there where they can buy the DVD. In those cases, what the people faced was they find there was a very long time gap between collecting the movies and recording that into the DVDs and buying the DVDs with some money and getting the DVDs to home. So the transition time was more he thought. So he just start to reduce the transition time. So how fast we can bring the movies to the person's life, so how fast we can get the accessibility to watch a movie, so that he thought, and that he thought a creative way of selling the movies online. So that is what the origin of the Netflix, and now he has changed the world. He has changed the trend of watching movies. So this is what we call it as creativity. So what are all the creativity, that is to be creative, what are all the dimensions we have, what are all the directions we want to think if you are going for the creative decision making. One thing is fluency. So you should have a very fluent in the market scenarios, and you should have a flexibility. So you should bend with the demand, you should bend with the need, you should bend with the requirements. So that needs a flexibility. And also originality. What is that originality? We should always accept what is the originality, what is the originality need of the people, what is the originality expectations of the customers. So that if you see a problem in a fluency way, in a flexibility way, in a originality way, automatically there comes the creative solution. So this is what the dimensions of the creativity. So, when you are applying the creativity decisions in an organization, what are all the ideas you can have? So we have seen that organizational creativity is vital to organizations, and there are some guidelines for enhancing organizational creativity. So one thing is team composition. So team composition means, so diversify your team to give them more input and build on more opportunities to create functional conflict where avoiding personal conflict. So we are creating a team, and we are like it is like a debate, how we are conducting the debate. So the different team members are assigned with different inputs, but they are about to solve the same task, but they have taken a more and more different inputs. So when they get different inputs, they will start to work on the different inputs. When they start to work on the different inputs, they will get new ideas. So based on the new ideas and based on the different thing what they get, so they have create a very great functional conflict, and that conflictions brings out the creativity. Because where there is a conflictions arise, where there are different conflictions arise, there comes the different solutions also. So there you can take a creative decision. And also you are changing the group membership to stimulate new ideas and new interaction patterns. When you are following the same team members, set of team members, they are easily adaptive to the team, and what they will do means they will just create a team leader, or they will just create two or three performers in a team, and they will start to follow the performer, and always you would get the same kind of decisions, and always you would get a same kind of solutions for a single problem. So to avoid these such of things, what you can do is you can just shuffle the team at most of the times. When you shuffle the team at most of the times, you are about to get new members into the team. When new members are added into the team, there arises different conflictions and there arises different ideas because everyone will start to think. There you can create a new interaction patterns. And so leaderless teams can allow teams freedom to create without trying to please anyone. Of course, you can create a leaderless team also because when you go for a leadership, then you are going to get a unique solution only. So when you go for a leaderless team, you can allow teams freedom to create their decisions and leading. So engage in brainstorming to generate ideas. To remember to set a high goal for the number of ideas and the group should come up with encourage wild ideas and taking brainwriting breaks. And also you can use a normal group technique in person or electronically to avoid someone group, that is common group process pitfalls. So monopoly, we can call it as monopoly, that is treat everyone as a single person and treat everyone's idea as a single separate idea that gives a creative decision. And sometimes when you go for a leadership, that is you are creating a challenges to the people, so challenge teams so that they are engaged but are not overwhelmed, and let the people to decide how to achieve goals rather than telling them what goals to be achieved, and support and celebrate creativity when it leads to a mistake, but set a process to learn from the mistakes as well, and also model a creative behavior. And organizing a culture, so institute organization memory so that the individuals do not spend time on routine tasks, so make them not to fall on a routine task, make them to fall on a very creative task by their own, and build a physical space conducive to creativity that is playful and humorous, and that is a place where ideas can thrive because when the two people are speaking colloquially they can explore more ideas. When two people are speaking very formally or professionally, the outcoming ideas are very less. And incorporate creative behavior, not a professional and corporate behavior. So in corporate behavior also you can add to bring out the creativity. And finally avoiding the group think, that is group discussions and putting the people in the same common place and putting the people in the same common ideas. If you avoid that, definitely you can achieve the creative decision making. And so these are all some exercises you can just do a analysis report on this exercise. If you do a self analysis on yourself, or if you do an analysis for a problem on based on these questions, definitely you are about to reach a very good decision.